and staff who are joining us here today. I want to welcome everyone to our community budget meeting. I am Bridget Souffrant, Chief Financial Officer for the City of West Palm Beach. On behalf of the Mayor Keith James and our commissioners, who include District 1 Commissioner Kathleen Ward, District 2 Commissioner Shalonda Warren, District 3 Commissioner Christy Fox, District 4 Commissioner Joseph Peduzzi, and District 5 Commission President Christina Lambert, we welcome you to this community budget meeting to present our balanced proposed fiscal year 2026 budget. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge City Administrator Faye Johnson for her work and effort in guiding this process, as well as Assistant City Administrator Jose Luis Rodriguez for his continuous support of our team and the budget process. I would also like to thank our budget team, because without them, we would not be standing here today with a balanced budget and a finished presentation. Kyle Roberts, our budget manager, and Rosanna Santana, our budget supervisor, have worked endless hours and tireless nights in order to present this balanced budget. I also would like to give a special thank you to Avro Smith, our Assistant CFO, for her assistance and support through the process. Thank you, team. I sincerely appreciate all that you do. This evening, we're going to review the city's mission, vision, and core values. We will cover the budget process, as well as look at some of our fiscal year 2025-2026 budget highlights. We will look at our property values and the property tax revenue, as well as a millage rate history, and our fiscal year 2025-2026 proposed general fund operating budget by category level. The city's vision is West Palm Beach as a vibrant and diverse world-class city. Our mission is, in partnership with our communities, West Palm Beach delivers exceptional customer service that enhances quality of life, embraces inclusion, and promotes opportunity for all. We also share and embody our core values of diversity, integrity, respect, excellence, collaboration, and transparency. The proposed fiscal year 2026 balanced budget achieves our strategic pillar number 8 from the strategic plan, demonstrating financial sustainability and organizational excellence. These are the statements and the values that this organization and its employees embody on a daily basis. These statements are the guiding factors that you will find throughout our budget as well. From the staff perspective, the budget process begins back in January, where we review our contracts and needs at the department level. In April, the departments are responsible for entering their budget into the budget software. The departments are charged with entering their basic and mandatory requirements. By that I mean they enter their basic items needed to operate, such as office supplies or fuel. And then they enter their mandatory requirements, such as items set by union contract or terms of a multi-year contract with a vendor. If departments have a special request or a need that is not considered base or basic, they need to complete a special form for an above base budget request. Those requests are submitted to finance and then reviewed by city administration. In May, the finance team is reviewing and compiling the data from all of the departments. June is when things really kick off. We receive our preliminary taxable values and can estimate our tax revenue. We also begin to hold our meetings with each department, finance, and city administration to examine and review their budgets. In July, we receive our final taxable values, hold our mayor and city commission work sessions, and the community budget meetings. Then in September, we hold both of our public hearings related to the budget and the millage rate, and the budget goes into effect on October 1st. As we begin to review the numbers, I want to take a moment to put this data into context. The proposed budget that we are about to review covers the general fund only. At this point, we are focused on the general fund, with discussion on all funds happening at the budget public hearings in September. Additionally, this is a draft budget, and while it is balanced, it is not 100% complete until we receive some final numbers from the state and run some final expenditures. The fiscal year 2026 proposed general fund budget is balanced at $282,847,804. Our fiscal year 2026 proposed general fund budget maintains our core services and programs, with public safety being priority number one. Our budget also maintains all of our quality of life areas and budget functions, such as library, parks and recreation, sanitation, housing, engineering, economic development, small and minority business, code enforcement, and development services. The proposed budget also includes our areas of internal governance. These are generally referred to as backhouse operations, but pieces of our operations that are needed in order to function in the fully functioning city with the services that we offer. These areas include fleet, legal and procurement, finance, human resources, IT, internal audit, communications, marketing, mayor and administration, and city commission. The fiscal year 2026 proposed budget continues our best budgeting practices by funding our vehicle replacement plan for a fourth year with a combination of fire assessment fee funds, one-time funding, and general fund funding. $2 million is included in the proposed general fund budget towards our vehicle replacement program. The proposed budget also funds the police vehicles that are needed per their collective bargaining agreement, with a combination of $3.7 million in the general fund and additional funding from our one-time funding. Contingency in this budget is increased to the 1% of general fund budget per our policy, and we are happy that a second year of our computer replacement program is funded in this proposed budget. The fiscal year 2026 proposed general fund budget also continues many programs and initiatives that our residents have come to know and love throughout the year, such as Soul in the City, various waterfront events, events within our neighborhoods and business community. It reinstates our Police Athletic League program. The Police Explorer program is continued, elementary grant program, the Mayor's Jumpstart Academy, various homeless assistance. It continues our community paramedics program and the Keep West Palm Beach Beautiful program. Also included in the fiscal year 2026 proposed general fund budget is a cost of living increase for all employees and elected officials. Our public safety employees will be receiving step pay and cost of living adjustment in their contract. We have worked in the health insurance increase, public safety pension increases, the addition of 42 public safety positions, 33 new positions in the police department, and 9 in the fire department. We have included a procurement supervisor position that's been added, a finance manager in housing and community development, senior employee relations specialist in human resources, recreation program coordinator in parks and recreation, and a digital marketing specialist in the library. The County Property Appraiser's Office provides us an estimated assessed value by June 1st and final values on July 1st. Again this year, we saw an increase in our values between June 1st and July 1st, with the final number of $25,491,873,099 reported on July 1st. Our assessed values increased $103 million over the June 1st projection and increased $2.14 billion or 9.4% over fiscal year 2025 values. In this chart, we show over the last couple of years, taking that assessed value or taxable value and utilizing the city's millage rate to see the general fund tax revenue that's received. So the last line on this chart, you can see our new assessed taxable value of $25.4 billion. And if we utilize our current millage rate of 8.1308, that would create an $11.54 million in additional tax revenue resulting from those new values. The chart before you is a millage rate history going back to 2022. In the greenish yellow, you have the operating millage, and the orange is our specific debt millage rate. As you can see, the city reduced its millage rate in 2023 and 2024. The proposed fiscal year 2025-2026 budget keeps the operating millage rate at 8.1308, the same as last year. The debt service millage rate for fiscal year 2025-2026 decreased by 0.0053, bringing the debt service millage rate to 0.0580. That debt service millage rate is calculated to cover the debt service payments from the 2020 Parks and General Obligation Bond. This is a snapshot of where our revenues stand today within the general fund by category. It is comparing our fiscal year 2025 adopted budget with our fiscal year 2026 proposed budget. We do have a balanced budget at $282 million, which is a 7.1 increase over fiscal year 2025 adopted budget. All general fund revenue categories increased from 2025 to 2026, with the exception of miscellaneous revenue and transfers into the general fund. On this slide, we are showing the increases or decreases by revenue category that are of note. We already spoke about our property tax increases of roughly $11.6 million. The next large area is our charges for service within the general fund, which increased $6.4 million or 13.4%. The main driver for the charges for services is an increase in the administrative fee paid to the general fund by the CRA, our public utilities, and building permitting, as well as the increase in the sanitation collection revenue. Our intergovernmental revenue increased roughly $497,000 with increased funding from the state. License and permits increased $467,000, and other taxes increased $569,000. Both of those increases were generally related to an increase in revenue received to the city from FP&L. Additionally, we have a transfers into the general fund decrease of $606,000. The main driver for this reduction is a $600,000 transfer into the general fund from the CRA for technology related to innovative policing that in the fiscal year 2025 budget was shown as a transfer into the general fund, but in fiscal year 2026, that was included in the administrative fee. So the $600,000 reduction in transfers in is also shifted to part of that increase in the charges for services line item. This graphic just shows the general fund revenues in the proposed fiscal year 2026 budget in a different format that allows you to see that our largest revenue source within the general fund is property taxes at 52.7%, and second largest is the charges for services at 19.2%. Shifting into the expenditures within fiscal year 2026 proposed general fund budget. Again, this is a snapshot comparing your fiscal year 2025 adopted budget to the fiscal year 2026 proposed budget. As a note on this slide, our debt service costs stayed just about flat, and the grants and aids decreased slightly, with all other areas increasing, and we will talk about them on the next slide. So we have discussed some of the items that are in the personnel services in concept, but this puts the dollars to it. Those personnel services, that category increased 9.8 million or 5.4%. Again, this includes a 4% health insurance increase, our cost of living adjustments, step pay for public safety, increases in the public safety pension contribution, as well as 5 million of that 9.8 is directly allocated towards the new positions that were added throughout the budget. Our materials and services increased 3.6 million or 7.8%. 1.1 million of that 3.6 is directly attributed to increased funding for various needs within the police department. If you remember me discussing the budget process and our above base budget requests, 1.1 million in above base budget requests from the police department that were funded and included within this 3.6 million here. In addition to that, we have $1 million of standard basic base budget contractual obligations throughout all of our departments that is included, and normal courses of operation increases like electricity and utilities and rent or leases that increased. We also have an increase included in this 3.6 million of just over $500,000 for additional police equipment to update some of their equipment, as well as to ensure that the new officers that are in the budget have the proper equipment that they need. Internal service charges has an increase of 1.8 million or 10%. At this point, that is a placeholder as we are still working through the internal service charges, and that will be updated going into the public hearing on September 8th. Our capital outlay section increased 1.5 million or 66%, and this is directly attributed to the expenses that are going towards the vehicles for police per their collective bargaining agreement. The final category is our transfer out of general fund and contingency, which increased combined 2.2 million. In the fiscal year 2026 proposed budget, the transfers in transfers out increased because the general fund is sending additional funding to the waterfront fund, which resides outside of the general fund. They are sending additional funding because there has been some legal changes with what CRAs are allowed to fund, and the CRA has assisted with some of the events and the programming in the waterfront area, and they no longer can legally do that. So we have worked out and realized that our residents enjoy these events, and we are going to provide funding for that. So that is part of this increase, as well as maintaining our contingency at 1% of the general fund budget, which is within our policy. Again, this graphic I always like because it takes your numbers into a different visual for everybody to see that 67.5% of our budget is in our people, the people that provide our services, and that's really critical to how we are able to operate. The second area is our materials and services at 17.6%. I know I just shared a lot of information in a short time frame. We've created another way for the public to share their opinion or ask any questions that they have about the proposed fiscal year 2026 budget. You can either copy and paste, if you are seeing this digitally, the form, or you can take out your phone and scan the QR code to be taken directly to the community engagement tool where you can interact with us and submit any questions that you might have. This community engagement tool is currently live and open and will remain so until September 7th. For those who would like to know more about the programs and the quality of life services that the city offers, you can visit our website to view the information for housing, parks and recreation, and library. The remaining key dates within our budget process would be on August 18th. We have the commission meeting where we will set the final fire assessment fee rates as well as the chronic nuisance assessments. September 8th is our first public hearing reviewing the tentative budget and the millage rate. And September 24th is the final public hearing where we would be looking for adoption of that budget and millage rate so that the budget can go into effect October 1st. With that, are there any questions?
Yes.
If you would not mind going to the mic, please, and stating your name, and then we can see how we can assist.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to ask a question. You probably don't know me, but I chaired your committee several years ago under Lois Frankel. I chaired the Finance Committee, and I chaired the Pension Committee as well. How many individuals does the personnel increase represent in your budget? It's $5 million.
I know I have that on a slide. Just one moment, please.
And you can give me the full FTEs in the city. I would appreciate that as well, too.
I do not have that number handy.
I remember the number of what it was 5 years ago, or 8 years ago, or 10 years ago. I'm just curious if it's increased or stayed the same. The other thing, there was a recommendation made by the public at the time when we ran our public hearings that the document that houses the details behind the budget was put online as well, and therefore on display for the public. Are you going to do the same?
Yes, we put the budget online every year, yes. We are currently working through the ADA formatting that needs to happen in order to put it on the website.
Understand the details. Okay.
Yes, so we have 47 positions that are included.
Net additional?
Those are additional.
Attritions and whatever. Okay. Ms. Johnson, hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Good evening. For the record, Faye Johnson, City Administrator. On the general fund side, in terms of number of employees, we have about, pretty close in the ballpark, about 1,217 employees in the general fund, and additional 620 plus of other funds. So we have just right up under 1,820 total employees.
Okay.
Right now.
Yeah, from when I was chair of that number is now higher than when it was when I was chair.
Yes, we have increased the number of employees within the city, primarily within police and fire.
Okay. Great. So your next public hearings is one in August and there's two in September?
The public hearing is September 8th.
Both September. September 8th is the next public hearing.
Correct.
In this location?
Correct.
And you'll have a Zoom as well?
It'll be live, so there is no, today with the community budget meetings, we had a Zoom.
Okay.
But no, the September 8th will be live and will be streaming on WPB-TV, Channel 18. Thank you, yes, it's televised.
Yeah. The request to have the data put up online and obviously shared with the public, there were two very vociferous committee members that demanded it. I won't mention their names, but they came from communities out west. And I think you acknowledged that and abided by that. So I'm glad to hear that you're going to do that this time around too, because there are several of us who are interested in the details beyond just the gross high-level numbers. But I commend your work and thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. All right. Oh. Can you please come? I have to have you at the mic and identify yourself. Sorry. Thank you.
Steve Sylvester. Hi, I have a question. Can you go back to that slide with the millage rate? It's more for clarification.
The history, the 5-year.
Back.
Oh, so close. Okay, this one?
No, before, next one, I think the one right before it. That.
Okay.
Okay, so the millage rate is staying the same, but I don't quite get the increase in the value in the millage rate. Can you just explain it? I don't really.
Sure. So when we receive the values from the property appraiser's office, which is housed in the county, we receive those values, and then there's an equation where we multiply our millage rate against those values in order to get to the tax revenue or estimated tax revenue that we would receive. So when our values go up, that's where then we end up dealing with the taxes.
Okay,
yes.
thank you. I just kind of missed it when you were going.
No problem. Thank you. Okay. If there are no other questions, thank you for coming, and I hope you all have a great evening.